is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No. Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Wednesday, everybody. How you feeling?
Hey.
Never gets old.
Sorry.
No, I like it.
It's
I like
aggressive.
Yes, very 93 with it. Yeah, she's very.
Is it
Keeping it current.
bad that I still like it?
No, it's all good.
It's a great commercial.
We'll start tomorrow with Wazza.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back. All right. Let's get to it, guys. Some stars are being called out for being too thin this time. Jessica Simpson has been in the news repeatedly over her figure this past year and the past decade, I would say. Jessica said she had lost and gained 100 pounds 3 times just in the past year. But back in 2009, she was called out for being too heavy.
Oh, Lord.
I know, I look like
remember
that.
this
Me
like
too
it
with
was
that belt.
yesterday,
Me
and
too,
I still
Erica.
don't
I
understand.
do remember that
I
picture.
look like that. That's me.
I didn't say it.
Okay.
I'm just reading the prompter. Even Tony Danza isn't immune, Tori, from people talking about his weight. Some tabloids are reporting he lost 30 pounds, but his sources say he's in the best shape of his life. And he's always been working out, Tony
Always.
Danza.
He's a boxer,
He
right?
worked out on the show.
Yeah, so I think he's all right. But Ariana Grande has had enough. Some fans have been commenting about her thin figure on social media, but she wants everybody to back off. Let's watch.
I think we should be gentler and less comfortable commenting on people's bodies, no matter what. If you think you're saying something good or well-intentioned, whatever it is, healthy, unhealthy, big, small, this, that, sexy, not sexy, we just shouldn't. We should really work towards not doing that as much.
Listen, she's probably right, but I have more to read. I was just getting into my opinion. She also said people are comparing her current appearance to a time when she was on antidepressants and eating poorly at the lowest point of her life. Great. So let's get into this because I'm confused, right? I don't know what to say. If Tori, you walk in, or Erica, you walk in, and this is more from a man to a female point of view. Hey, you look great today. Way to go, Tori. Have you been working out? That's not okay to say. I shouldn't comment ever on someone's appearance, even though they've been working hard. Because for me, as a man, I've been always sports oriented. Way to go. Good touchdown. Hey, you did good out there. Great basket. Like, you work hard to get that acknowledgement, right?
That's what the goal is.
We're no longer doing that in society?
I think that it's just become a little bit more inside, like your inner circle versus like
the outer
people that you may not necessarily know as much.
True.
Because
Gotcha.
I have no issues like receiving a compliment. Well, maybe I do. I do get a little weird about it. But if you said that to me, I'd be like, oh, wow, thanks. Because I know you, and I know that you're like, hey, you're putting in the work to blah, 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 whatever. Like,
yes.
I appreciate that. But I could see, like, I've gone out in, like, other spaces where maybe someone's watched the show and they make a comment about my physical appearance or, like, especially my weight.
Me too.
And regardless, it just comes across a little different. And, I mean, a lot of times it's like, oh, you've gained weight. You know, I don't know where these people, I told you about the Uber driver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you told that story.
Who was like, yeah, I've been watching you since season 1. You've gained weight.
Yeah.
And I do think also, people come to me and they go, you look so much smaller here. And I'm like, am I a monster on TV? Like, what are you talking about? But I do think what's important is when you don't know someone's situation, I would say hold off, right? Like, if you know me and you know I've gained a little weight and I'm now working it off, that is huge for me to hear that from you. That is huge. I even like it from fans. That's important to me to get that validation.
See, now that's confusing. So are strangers allowed to come? I get the stranger thing. You shouldn't maybe comment on strangers' bodies. But now you're saying it's okay.
Well, that's personally for me. I'm also not as popular as Ariana Grande. So, for instance, when my mom was like at my wedding, she was on steroids and she had put on weight. And so you don't know someone's like what's going on in their world. So at that point is when it becomes a little tricky. But look, it depends on the person and the case. I'm someone who's vain and needs a lot of that. So I ask for that and make it clear. But I think Ariana Grande is getting it, and we don't know her circumstances. And that's fair, health-wise, too.
I mean, it always comes back to context, but I think that's the easy blanket answer, like it's all about context. But when you run into somebody, especially a fan, somebody that watches this show, we appreciate you guys. they've been looking at us for years. So they're not just casual viewers. So when they look at Erica, they're like, this is somebody that's listening to you talk, Cobb, for maybe, if you totaled it up, days on end. They do feel like they know you. So when they comment on you.
But they don't.
They don't.
Right.
But in a weird way, they do.
Right.
I would argue, if I wanted to get intel about things that I could do better, we ask Chris, our executive producer, or I would ask a fan, because that's you know what, you tend to always say this. Or, you know, when you're not listening to a conversation, you turn away. I've heard people say that. I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. You need that outside perspective. So if you're going to ask for that and you do want people to look at you, it's very hard for you to say, look at me every day, listen to me talk every day for a half an hour, hour a day, but don't talk to me like you know me. It's just, it's a hard ask. It's a fair ask. It's just a hard ask.
Well, no, I don't think that that's what we're saying. I'm just saying that, is it ever appropriate to walk up to someone and be like, oh, you know, 3 years ago you were thinner than you are now. Like, what's up with that? Like, that's just rude.
It's just rude.
Thing
Yeah, it's
to
just
say.
rude.
So I think I don't ever have an issue engaging with anyone who I appreciate people watching the show. But I do think that when it comes from the outside, it's like, you don't think that I know that I put on weight? Like, you don't think, and you don't know what the circumstances behind that might be. So I think that's the difference. Is I normally just tell people, like, wow, you are glowing. Or like, you know, you look really healthy. Like, things like that. I don't know if that's bad, but that's how because a lot of times it does
how you
show.
say healthy.
Or
you
glow.
can say healthy like a creep.
Because
like,
I think that when you look like a healthy look, like when you're glowing, your skin is like, you know, it's just like, wow, you look great.
Right,
you know?
But I do understand what you're saying. Since they're public figures, why can't we talk about public figures? Like, I do get your take.
Yeah,
that
and it's not even so much it's just, I don't know. My circle is just getting super tight. I didn't do anything. All right. I guess the point here is don't judge others. Oh, Vanderpump Rules. Let's judge all of them. Tom Sandoval has opened up about his relationship with his ex Ariana and his affair with their castmates Raquel on Howie Mandel's podcast. I'm confused about that as well. Tom said that he and Ariana were basically roommates after 9 years together. Let's take a look.
Like, you know, many relationships, it felt like it became more of like a like best friends, family, sometimes roommates. Like, it just was, there was a lot of ways where, you know, the relationship was just lacking, you know, the intimacy, the connection.
People don't talk about depression. People don't talk about openly. They don't talk about depression. They don't talk about, you know, issues in their relationship. So the fact that you're doing that is so commendable, and
Thank you.
Nothing but respect for you.
All right, so it seemed like Howie didn't really get what was going on, like me and you, Erica, but some fans didn't like how Howie appeared to be justifying Tom's behavior. Again, I think my guess is that Howie doesn't really know.
He knows nothing. Yeah.
Why is he on Howie Mandel's podcast? That's my first question.
So, okay, Howie Mandel has a production company, and his senior VP is married to the manager of Tom Sandoval's band. So this is coming across as he needed a good faith press tour, and Howie Mandel is obviously a very big name. Now, I'm not saying, everyone's talking about how ill-equipped he appeared to be for this podcast, and he was, but I can see a school of thought saying, well, if you have someone who, his daughter clearly is very into the show and understands, right?
Is that his daughter on the show?
Yeah, and she was co-hosting, and Howie's coming at it where the majority of the people are coming from, like, who are these people and why do we care? But if you're going to actually sit down and go into a deep dive about what the Sandoval of it all was, it would have been nice for him to just know a little bit more information so it didn't come across as such a plug, because they also kept plugging the band's tour dates and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that was the in and out.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, this is his first, like, interview, I would say, after the whole scandal that we've been covering went down. And instead of going like to Andy Cohen, right, who kind of commented as well on it, he went to Howie Mandel. But Erica put the pieces together.
Right, but I did hear that Bravo was pretty annoyed that he spilled so much information and not during a Bravo production.
Oh, that's a lot.
And I get it. Like, they said they were completely blindsided by this interview. So it kind of took everyone by surprise. And then they shaved off his mustache at the end.
Probably a good move.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I mean, not for Bravo, and you know, as somebody that is an outsider on this, if you're Bravo, you're like, we have cultivated this storyline for you over the course of years. We have kept this afloat and kept this in front of people, and then you're going to shave your signature mustache, which became a signature on our network, and spill on all the tea to somebody that's not going to push back, that has no idea what we're talking about. It is a little bit of it's a strategic move on his team's part, but it is a slap in the face.
It's very short-sighted, and this is something that's happening, has happened. I think there's going to be some clauses that come out for Bravo, because there's been other people who have shared their content behind paywalls, and it's like, y'all have a platform you're getting paid to be on. So now you're going to share information you should be sharing on the network elsewhere.
We were talking about body image and you shouldn't judge. Let me tell you something. Men and their mustaches, people sure judge. I had it for 2 weeks. I never got so many comments in my whole life. Hey, nerd, shave your mustache. Who are you?
It's true. It's a double standard.
Yeah, it's crazy. But don't comment on my body. Cool, dirty mustache. Oh, that's a double standard. Coming up on DBL, Bob Saget's wife, Kelly Rizzo, is here talking about her travel series, Eat, Travel, Rock. And why has Chris Evans been avoiding hosting SNL for years? We're going to talk about it next.
Somebody roll the clip.
Let's make sure we have Jeff's sex tape.
Wow, things are getting spicy here at DBL.
Cold-hearted snake, look into his eyes.
Let's roll that again, everybody.
Yeah, so diving more into the reality TV sphere. So Bravo has this thing called the Bethany Frankel clause, and it's because when Bethany Frankel was on Real Housewives of New York, she was able to scratch out a clause that said that if she were to promote a product on the show, that Bravo would get a certain percentage of it. She scratched it out. She sold her company for hundreds of millions of dollars. Skinny Girl. And now all of these other people have come in trying to do the same thing, and they're required to sign what is now considered the Bethany Clause. I think after this year, because there was a kind of scandal on Real Housewives of Potomac where one of the housewives knew that her soon-to-be husband had an affair, hid it from everyone the entire season, deflected onto other cast members, and then after the reunion went on to her podcast and talked about the affair behind a Patreon paywall. So the question became, if you're being paid to share your life and it's supposed to be the reality of your life, then isn't that the expectation for you to share it on that platform and not go and make money elsewhere or give other people the tea? So I think you're going to start to see like some of these reality TV stars having to change how they're doing things because Bravo and other
But for Tom, wouldn't you want to go on a show that doesn't know exactly every detail about everything? Because you're like, I'm just going to get hammered on this show. How are you at least going to talk about my mental health?
Right. There's a consequence to that.
I get it, but at that point, I don't think he cares.
Bravo's like, we can wrap up your storyline real quick.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of reality shows.
Welcome back. Don't expect to see Captain America star Chris Evans hosting SNL anytime soon. While promoting his new movie, Chris said unlike his co-star Ana de Armas, who is hosting the show this weekend, he has been avoiding SNL like the plague. He said he could handle a cameo on the show, but the idea of hosting is terrifying for him. Chris said he feared he might this might stem from being told by his very funny friends that he's not a very funny person.
Haters.
Yeah, and I also don't buy this.
Yeah, man, I think you could do it.
And also, Chris Evans not only is very funny, and we remember that meme from Knives Out where he's like, wow. Like, he's got a really funny side. He also dated for a long time my friend Jenny Slate, who's like an improviser. And like, To me, I don't.
He learned to improvise.
No, I'm saying funny
osmosis.
people date other funny people, and it's like he's been humorous with his time. None of this reads real to me for Chris Evans at all. That's not his person. I find him very funny.
He's funny in movies.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that one where he does the spoof on the other one? I love that movie.
Oh, yes. Was it Scary Movie?
No, not another teen movie. Thank you, Jody.
That's it.
Yeah,
With
he's
his
hilarious in that movie. Yeah.
So I don't buy this. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Why would you not get it? I mean, it's a totally different.
It is a different
model than what he's used to. He's used to showing up on set, knowing his lines, learning how to deliver those lines. SNL, some of it is improv. You're with the best of the best improvers. It's live, and you know if you mess up that monologue, especially given his height of fame, he is going to get roasted for that. And so the idea of being public speaking scares people anyway.
What does Chris say? He's Captain America. He has the charisma.
But you can stop and start over on SNL once you're into it and it's not going well. Have you ever bombed, Tori?
Yes.
Yes, I have bombed. Yes. And bombing takes a long time.
To get over.
And there's a lot of sweat.
Yeah.
And it like
and the clinking of glasses.
Never forget it. Yes. Yeah. I always say bombing, people don't boo. It's just like low-level conversations start to happen in the room and it's really bad. So I understand people's fear of public speaking. I get
the slow way you said that to Tori. Tori, have you ever bombed? Like she's bringing that to her therapist.
Yes. It's a lot of memories.
Totally.
At the break, Tori will be making a phone call.
I'll be in the corner rocking.
Remember what we were talking about? He did it again. All right, we better get out of here so Tori can gather herself. We'll be right back.
I gotta leave.
On April 1st, influencer Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light announced a partnership.
I got some Bud Lights for us.
Bud Light put her face on the side of cans, and Mulvaney promoted the beer on her platforms. Bud Light then received intense backlash online, including in posts with millions of views from country music artists Travis Tritt, John Rich, and Kid Rock, because Mulvaney is transgender. A viral article published by the Dunning-Kruger Times claims the response prompted the CEO of Bud Light's parent company, Anheuser-Busch, to resign. So, let's verify. Did Anheuser-Busch's CEO resign over the company's partnership with Dylan Mulvaney? Our sources are Anheuser-Busch and the online publishing company, America's Last Line of Defense. The Dunning-Kruger Times article says Anheuser-Busch's CEO is Augustus Anheuser III, but that's not the name of the company's CEO. It's actually Brendan Whitworth. The company tells Verify he's been the CEO for nearly 2 years and is still in that role. Whitworth also looks nothing like the image used in the Dunning-Kruger article. A reverse image search using Revi shows this person is actually disgraced Penn State football coach Jerry Sandusky, who was convicted of 45 counts of child sexual abuse. The Dunning-Kruger Times is owned by America's Last Line of Defense, a satirical network of websites that says everything on this website is fiction. It is not a lie, and it is not fake news because it is not real. So, no, Anheuser-Busch's CEO did not resign over the company's partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
My extreme passion for food, travel, and music fuels my entire life. From growing up in a Sicilian family in Chicago who raised me to explore and expand my palate, to learning everything I can about the travel industry and putting it to use, and spending my years immersed in the culture and lifeblood that is rock and roll.
Welcome back to DBL. Not only is our next guest a Chicago native and the multimedia rocker chick personality behind the award-winning entertainment series Eat, Travel, Rock, she is also the wife of America's TV dad, the beloved and dearly missed Bob Saget. Check out our conversation with Kelly Rizzo.
People might not know that Bob was a huge fan of Eat, Travel, Rock before you guys even met. So, like, how did he win you over? Like, what was his move?
Well, he hated the phrase that he slid into my DMs, but that is the absolute truth. He actually did ask permission of a mutual friend before he did that. So it was a very gentlemanly way to do it. But yeah, he did DM me and say, hey, I'd love to invite you to a show sometime and take you out for a bunch of burgers and lobsters. And of course, that was the way to my heart.
Totally.
So.
He's even a class act.
Mine too.
In the DM.
Yeah.
Mine too. Well, I didn't know Bob, but I am a fellow Chicagoan, so maybe our paths crossed at some point. That's right. So what made Eat, Travel, Rock a career for you, and why didn't this Chicagoan get the job? No, I'm just kidding. I'm jealous.
In that little clip, it showed how I grew up in a Sicilian family, so I was always eating a lot of very interesting foods from a young age, but I didn't really travel a whole lot as a kid, but I always thought it looked so interesting and I wanted to see the world. So I just started blogging, and then all of a sudden it, several years later became a full-time career.
I love that Eat, Travel, Rock was something you were able to share with Bob. And as we know, travel reveals a lot about a person. What kind of traveler was Bob?
Bob was incredibly confident. He was very efficient. I mean, he'd been traveling so much for 40 plus years,
Sure.
So he had it down to a science. And he always said that in another life, he would have been a travel agent because he was so good at just booking the trips and putting it all together, and he was brilliant at it, and he booked all of our trips, and which was hard for me to relinquish the control
Sure.
to him because I love doing it, but he insisted. Like even in an airport, he insisted on always holding my passport, and I was like, no, I want to hold my passport. He's like, no. I'm the husband, like I'm taking charge, I'm holding her passport. I'm like, all right, fine. I let him have it. But yeah, he was great. He, even walking through an airport, it was funny because, he's 6'4" and he looks like Bob Saget, so he was very recognizable. And he would constantly get stopped, and even if we were like running late to a flight, he would always stop and take pictures with everybody.
Oh, what a
and
nice guy.
Never once in the entire time did I know him did he ever refuse a selfie or an autograph or anything like that.
It's been about 20 years since we bartended together at the Green Room in Chicago. That was the jam. But listen, I just want you to know. So happy to see you, and I just wanted you to know that I have prayed for you so many nights. I'm so proud of you, and we have about a minute left. But I just want to know, how do you think Bob would have responded to this outpouring of love that he has received?
First of all, thank you for saying that. It's been, just the support that I've gotten, but all the love that I've seen for him has just been otherworldly. And I think, he knew he was loved. I don't think he thought it was like this. That's something that like Stamos and I talk about all the time. We're like, he didn't know it was like this. We wish he could see this, and I believe in some way he is, of course, but it's just been such a testament to who he is as a person, will always be the fact that, I've never seen this type of outpouring before. I don't think anyone has. So I feel just very blessed that I got to be with him for as long as I did, and to have been a part of it and a part of his life for the 6 years that we were together. That's all I can really ask for now.
Yeah.
Beautifully
Well, thanks for
stated.
sharing your world with us too, and continue to.
Thank you.
Kelly.
Thank you. So happy to see you again. So happy to see you all. Thank you.
Kelly, thank you so much. DBL Nation, make sure you follow Kelly across socials and YouTube at Eat Travel Rock, and check out eattravelrock.com for new episodes. And thank you for reminiscing and sharing your love for Bob with us. He is truly missed. We'll be right back. Thank you, Kelly.
With just 1 week left to file, we turn to the IRS, the American Institute of CPAs, and James Hodge, accounting professor at Howard University, for what you need to know if the tax man is still waiting to hear from you. You may save time by knowing right away you'll be going with the standard deduction. This year, it's $12,950 for an individual, double that for joint filing married couples. The IRS explains you might benefit from itemizing your deductions if, when added together, allowable deductions like contributions to charity, medical expenses, or losses from a disaster would equal more than that standard deduction.
but making sure you analyze both scenarios.
File electronically. Avoid possible mail delays by e-filing, which uploads your return information right away. Hodge says it takes 6 to 8 weeks for the IRS to process tax returns once they get them in the mail, but
if you file electronically, your refund should be issued in less than 3 weeks.
Those who make $73,000 a year or less can file federal taxes on the IRS website for free. If you think you need more time, you can file for an extension, but beware, anything you owe in federal taxes is still due April 18th.
So if you think you may owe for whatever reason, it's definitely advised that you get the tax return done timely.
The AICPA recommends estimating based on previous liabilities and even overpaying if you don't know what you'll owe yet. Remember to build in a few minutes for a quick double check that you've done it all right.
To take a deep breath and to try to avoid rushing to introduce errors into the tax return.
That means think back one more time on any jobs you did or gigs you got paid for to make sure they're counted. Double check identification numbers and for typos on forms, and rework your simple math. And make sure all relevant forms are signed. Any issues where you have to file an amendment could mean a delay in any refund you'd get. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
When someone is convicted of a crime, federal law enforcement can seize their property and money. This is called criminal asset forfeiture, and last fiscal year alone, the federal government seized more than $1 billion. Verify viewer Robin messaged us at verifythis.com to ask what happens to it all. So Robin, let's verify. Does the federal government keep money and property it seizes in investigations? Our sources are the U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Treasury, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Congressional Research Service, an independent audit by accounting firms KPMG and GKA, and the Institute for Justice. Yes, if they're convicted, the government can keep the property and money it seized. The cash and proceeds from property sold at auction go into a fund that pays for things like restitution to the victim, reward money to informants, and law enforcement expenses. If there's anything left over, then it's divided up within the government. Some will fund future asset forfeiture law enforcement operations. A portion goes to state and local law enforcement that assists, and even Congress gets a share to use for other non-law enforcement federal agencies. There are also civil and administrative forfeiture laws that allow the federal government to seize property that they think was used in a crime, even if the owner is not charged with a crime. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. If you're about to remodel your bathroom, there are several things you should know to avoid breaking the bank later on. We're talking about it in today's tips, sponsored by Jacuzzi. First, hire a professional. This alone will solve almost every problem that pops up because you're not doing it instead of doing it yourself. Next, always put function over style and invest in a new ventilation system. This will reduce humidity and help everything last longer. If you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Visit jacuzzibathremodels.com or call 800-523-1523. Al, the importance of a good ventilation system is unmatchable.
I've been telling you guys forever, I like a nice bathroom. I like to start my day in there. You know, nice ventilation, good lighting, nice sink. Come on now.
Al Jackson way.
Well.
We'll see you tomorrow.